I've got my sign here. I'm presenting all in the interest of marriage. I'm presenting different archetypes that promote the concept of marriage and that will allow you to at least have a sense of confidence about going forward, that even if your religions haven't persuaded you, and I'll get into that as well too. But here we go. So starting off with the archetype that I chose first is the virgin. So I'm basically expressing we how we create that. So here we go. Let's see. So starting off with different archetypes in the interest of promoting happy marriages and a loving society. So the first one I'm getting into is the virgin. Men and women would prefer virgins with no prior connections or heartbreaks. And point two is the idea that, well, if you want, like people in red pill manosphere spaces on the internet, they speak of the idea of virgins, but only being able to seek them out in other countries because the quote-unquote West is been demoralized. But and then they blame women for killing chivalry and that women are responsible for that. But I think I think that society is always men's responsibility, whatever transpires. So the idea being that if that's what men want, instead of trying to go to foreign countries to find virgins, they should instead try to promulgate a culture in the U.S. that promotes that, and that includes protecting women and not sending your daughters to schools where they can be predated upon by stronger men, for example. So, point two is that in order to create a society with virginal women, the men have to be virginal as well, because if the men are having sex with... Because all the women can't be virgins unless all the men are virgins. So that's point number two. Okay, so there we go. Let's write down, see if we have any contention from the crowd, but so far nothing too I'd say I'm being relatively controversial. Like in a country that affirms these values, people would be all into it. But at the moment we have at best neutrality, and at worst probably people thinking disagreeable thoughts in their minds. So point two is I'm writing down heartbreak here. Point two is to have women virgins you need the men have to be virgin, not seduce others. Oh, fuck me, dude. Dude, I can't write in the fucking rain, dude. Do you guys see the rain coming down? Look at the rain. How are we gonna do this in the rain, right? It's not. I got nothing, man. I'm not writing. But that's okay, because I can still speak and then have a good live stream to refer to, and thank you for you guys. So So yeah, the rain, I won't be able to write more, but I can certainly talk, and I can talk about each archetype. So here we go, and you can see me right here. This is what I look like. But I'd rather show you guys what I'm looking at. So here we go. So yeah, continuing on, I will no longer be able to write on the board in consideration of the rain. However, I can keep going and continue my live stream on YouTube. So what else is a prerequisite to there being more virgins? Another point that people underestimate is the idea of gender separation, especially for younger people, because schools, especially since they're publicly funded, should be focused on exclusively on empowering the youth with education, not providing them opportunities to distract each other with affection. And if you look into it, you'll see that public schools actually promote premarital sex by encouraging stuff like proms and whatever it may be. And so in societies where there are virgins and where there are men who want virgins, and it's not even about like a woman being not attractive if she's not a virgin. She still is attractive in my view. It's just we should be thinking in terms of an optimized society. What would a perfect society be? And what did it look like? Like people were happier even through, yeah, nice guys, nice. People were happier in the past, even though there was difficulty in life, but there was a certain class where, for example, unmarried people did not go on public dates. See, the appearance in public as a quote-unquote couple or boyfriend and girlfriend, if you really do want to refer to yourselves as boy and girl and friend, which is pretty lukewarm, but as people do that, it's like, how do you show the world that you're married? Well, a marriage ceremony is actually not as intimate as things like dating in public and showing yourselves to be a couple and things like having sex. What that does is it basically attaches you to a person that you supposedly aren't 100% sure you want to be attached to for life. And you know, obviously sex is addictive because it's meant to draw people together, and it's in a perfect world, you know, you can create happy people and people where there's this certain collective trust in society. Where, let me go into my next archetype. I'm calling it the guardian. A lot of people use the terms like parents and mother and father, and these are all great, accepting that the more critical role of a person and their child is the guardian archetype. The guardian, for example, wouldn't allow their daughter to be around other men, like that's in gender in co-ed schooling, because yeah. because it makes people okay. Guardian. Interesting. So,
what are you talking about?
you gotta go? What?
2 seconds.
Okay, I'm promoting marriage if you're interested in
I'm
marriage.
already married.
Right on, man.
Circle down.
Alright, let's see. I'm thinking about archetypes. So the archetype of the guardian is someone who protects their children from the dangers of the world. And what I see in society is that parents kind of give up on their children, because if you really look at it, there's like, because people are not properly staying married and being married and creating a loving environment to show their children what love is, what ends up happening is it becomes this competition where older men are seeking younger women, and then the younger, and then the mothers don't want to protect their daughters because they're competing with their daughters, and then the older men are also since they're competing for younger women, they don't care to properly educate their sons in, and like build their sons up to be strong, because they're trying to have sex with the women that are their sons' ages. So it's just this, and so it's just this unhealthy competition that occurs, and obviously this is an extreme, but it plays out on different levels. And so when you have a society that, okay, first of all, let's get into the religious archetype. The archetype of the religious, let's just call it the religious archetype. So in religion, the biggest dissuasion against premarital sex is that you'll go to hell because it's a sin. But the trouble with the idea of sin is it's an abstract concept. Instead of using the word sin, I like to use the word unloving. For example, when a prostitute and her client, when the prostitute offers her body, the client offers their money, this is an exchange that would happen between two people who lack respect for each other. And so in that regard, it's an unloving exchange. However, if they liked each other, if they really respected each other, which, for example, and this is a huge paradox, because it's like people have sex with people that they don't care about. This is fundamental, guys. People try to seduce people for sex that they do not care about, and often women do it with their body, and often men do it with their money. And people under the auspices of boyfriend and girlfriend, that is as well as prostitution, because it's an exchange of body for body. It's not really exchanging your souls. You're not fully committed. You're ambiguous. You're like, well, maybe I'll marry this person, and then you become attached, and when you're attached to somebody in a physical, sexual manner, it's hard to use logic to interpret who you are, and interpret like who they are, and what if your paths line up, and if your destinations are aligned, and your quote unquote destiny. So basically, in the religious archetype, it's like, oh, hey.
What are you saying?
I'm promoting marriage and religious kind of stuff.
Right. So what about lesbians and the people of the same sex?
Oh, I'm fully for that, of course.
All right. I had to be sure.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I was like, hold on, because I'm gonna say something real quick.
And I appreciate you.
Right.
I appreciate you because we're all here, man. We're all here.
All right.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, good. Oh, I like that. Did we hear that? They're like they were lesbians and they're like we have to make sure. Okay, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. This is all on YouTube, man. So we're having fun. What? She's like, I just had to make sure. Look at the smile on my face, man. We're in it, man. We're having fun, right? Am I right, guys? Come on. All right, so where does this go from here? Religious archetype. What's another like archetype I could offer? The archetype of the bad guy. The archetype of the bad guy. Okay, now I think it's worth covering the archetype of the quote-unquote bad guy or alpha male or dominant person, or we could say, the guy with favorable genetics that women should be attracted to, because we want to have a society with attractive people. We want to have good genetics be represented into the future. So, okay, first of all, people like under the age of 25, they just make poor decisions. So they choose people based upon superficial reasons, and they're not fully developed as individuals. And part of the reason for that is because they label people as their authorities, their parents. And when you do that, you kind of, at least at an unconscious level, you defer responsibility to other people. Responsibility for your finances, your emotions, your life choices. Like you just unconsciously, if they say you should go to college, then you do that, even if it's not really, like, you don't really know the field that you want to go into. And just this, it's the principle of, like, when you're offered something for free, nothing's really free. Like, for example, if, as a child or even as an adult, and people going on dates and stuff, when you when you accept stuff for free, it's like you're gonna feel psychologically obligated. That's why it's really important, I think, for example, for parents not to give their children luxurious experiences, because luxurious experiences are like trophies. It's like something that you should create yourself in order to really appreciate it. And the same goes with okay, well, it's a little bit of a different twist, but when you label people your parents, you're generally in a state of a more submissive state, at least some of the time. And so what that does is it makes people not entirely think for themselves and almost have this existential resentment that gets expressed into unhealthy relationships. Like they say that for example, a woman might like a drunk guy because her father was drunk, but the reason for that is because she labels that person her father, and so attracts that. But if she just labeled the person that was her father, if she just labeled that person as a stranger or on a first name basis, it's just so, like, how in movies, like, there's like a like a soldier who refuses to bow to the king and would rather suffer death. That's the same phenomenon that gets played out all the time. When people label people, their fathers and mothers, etc., it puts you, even if your fathers and mothers are nice people, it puts you in a state of, hey Cletus, aloha, welcome to Waikiki, baby. Yeah. It puts you in a state of submission and not fully grasping your life on your own terms. Now, it's good to have guardians, yes. But those guardians should be there in not trying to be your authority, not trying to make you to pay their bills later on in their life. It should be a more egalitarian relationship where you're agreeing that, okay, I'm gonna take resources from you, and food and shelter, and in exchange I'm going to follow your rules. And one more obvious rule, for example, would be when fathers discourage their daughters from dressing scantily, that would be an exchange where you agree to do that because you get the food and shelter. And so the danger is when what would destroy society is when people don't discipline their children and allow them to do deviant things, but still support their basic needs, and then their children play out these dark actions out into the future. And so, okay, so that was a generous amount. Where can I go next? Yeah, back to the archetype of the bad boy character. So first of all, it has a sexual element attached to it, and both men and women should have sex with themselves. And this may sound funny at first, but it's a very serious thing, because it establishes a sense of connection with yourself and self-control, managing your own desires, not needing or wanting other people to satisfy you, not being prone or subject to seductive people. When you have sex with yourself, both men and women, and there are toys for this. It shouldn't be where a woman's like waiting for a man. She should be having sex with herself. And just the same, men, there are very realistic toys out there, guys. And so this establishes a sense of self-control with yourself, and it's a core aspect of loving yourself, and so maybe that'll be another one of my archetypes, the self-lover. Okay, so the self-lover is somebody who the self-lover is somebody who knows who they are. They know what their likes and dislikes are. So an obvious one would be, well, this person smokes cigarettes, so it's obvious that even if I'm otherwise physically attracted to them, the smoking is going to be an instant turnoff. So you should have the wherewithal and discernment to say, yeah, this person does this, this, and this, or you like or dislike pets. You should have a list of likes and dislikes, and this is what creates the come on.
Creates what?
Let me think. The man of character, or there's another term for it. Just let me be patient here. It's what creates the principled man. When you can say no to sexual activity with a woman because she doesn't share the same values and principles as you do. This is a place of power. This is a place of strength. Woo! Work it, baby, work it. Charge her, baby, charge it. Yay! Be careful of cars. Thank you. So the principled man only wants to be with a woman after marriage. The principled man is so because he's in control of his desires through self-intimacy, otherwise known as... What's up, Eric? Yeah, shout out, man, shout out. Flex on them, Eric, flex on them. Yeah, dude. You know, we really got to get TTS, the talk-to-speech, back on this live. It would explode, man. The chat would be totally dominating, man. It'd be exciting. So where was I? The archetype of the principled man. Okay, this is a man who... How have you? I'm obviously activating my chakras. The light work, I haven't been... Well, actually, I have been doing the light work. I've been like kind of imagining brilliant white light, like blasting down on people and like wherever I am, doing more proximity. But I should do it on the mind. You know, that's the instant cure for mental anxiety. See, the mind interprets things in imagery. So, for example, if you're upset, it's because you're thinking of somebody with an upset face. So you have to contradict that thought by imagine. Yeah, go get them, guys. Yeah, you have to contradict that thought by imagining smiling people and imagine them surrounded by brilliant white light. So the principled man is somebody who follows like a belief system. Like if you look into history, you'll see that the religions have, regrettably, they've diluted. You know, they call it Orthodox Christianity versus Christianity. Like, you can't have like, that's like saying, well, this is 50% Christianity or Orthodox Muslim. What are the Orthodox Muslim? What are the Muslim people called? Muslim, Orthodox Muslims versus regular Muslims. It's just Muslims, and then the other one's 50% Muslims. Like it's a play on words. You have to be careful of these semantics that people use to camouflage their bullshit. All right, talk on these people, man. Talk on them. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Fuck. You see, the thing is, I don't have my other music. Otherwise, I could rap as well on the music. That'd be fun. But we'll just keep this train of thought going, guys, and I'll promise next time you guys on the live stream, I'll promise I'll have a secondary device to play my music, and we will be in full, what do you call it? Full, it's like, is it full, do you call it full essence, or we'll be in like full, what's it called? It's called we'll be in full form, I think it's called. We'll be in full form. So continuing on, the archetype of the principled man, okay, wants to celebrate and uplift and protect women rather than seduce them. Anything besides premarital intimacy is seduction. And you only seduce a person you don't care about. Think about that. So, what other archetypes can I think of? The archetype of the the archetype of the let's call it the archetype of the disenfranchised person. So this is somebody who's either had an unsuccessful relationship or has an envious outlook on society. And this is my message to them and about them. What we want is to think from a pure consciousness level. If you really think about who we are all that is. We're all pervasive. We're the unified field of light. We're every incarnation from the past, present, and future. We are the thing that came before everything, which is disturbing to think about unless you can truly embody and feel that that is who you are. The inexplicable mystery that underlies all existence, all the way from the beginning of time, which we also created. We created time and space. We created good and bad. And why would we create good and bad? Because without good, okay, here I go on a religious rant now. Without good and bad, you couldn't experience good. How would you know what good is if you couldn't delineate from the dark forces and align with the light? So the mistake people make is believing in this concept of a heaven. Heaven is an utterly boring concept because there is no meaning in heaven. There's no sense of purpose or action. You can't enjoy life and you can't enjoy reality unless you are acting towards some premeditated goal or destination. That's what life's about. It's about generating meaning. So they speak of having meaning. They speak of this heaven as if it's a worthwhile experience, but really it would be better to reincarnate. It really would be. And so that kind of ties us back into who we are. Who are we? So if we are pure consciousness, then we should, instead of... Okay, so first of all, let me define envy. Envy is... Envy is a disapproval of the misuse of a person's body or resources. So, for example, if you see somebody seducing other people with their body or money, you're going to feel envious towards them. But that's actually, technically, it's a feeling of disapproval. Now, if you see somebody who's righteously using their possessions and they're creating a happy, healthy family with favorable genetics and financial stability, then you should applaud that, because that is perpetuating an existence into the future that you would yourself reincarnate into as a person with favorable, more attractive genetics. If you're following my logic, you might have to watch that again on the live stream, and you can do so by going to shieldheart.org and clicking on the YouTube link. Shieldheart.org. Okay. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Louis V, we're shopping in Paris in this motherfucker. Woo! Niggas in Paris. Alright, I'm really tempted to get into this music session, but in the interest of the live stream, let me try to wrap it up here. So, again, we processed through about 5 different archetypes. One was the Virgin. The other was the Guardian. Another one was the Principled Man. Another one was the religious figure. And then and another one was the. Tell them. I'm almost done with my live stream, then I'm gonna wrap. So,
Okay.
right on, guys. Have a good night.
You too. You too.
The final archetype was the disenfranchised individual. All right, so. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so yeah, in conclusion, the virgin archetype should be sought after by everyone, both men and women, because that would mean that you can experience one another in your exclusively with no comparison to other previous partners, and you can come on, you can truly love each other fully and not worry about any previous attachments or heartbreaks, because they don't exist. And what men think that, well, women should be virgins, but men don't have to. If for all women to be virgins, then the men have to as well. And so you should look at society as in treating your other man and not wanting to seduce his future spouse, his future wife, not wanting to seduce his future wife, and then that translates to the karma of a man not seducing your future wife for having intimacy with your future wife. Okay, so that's point one. What's going on, Ray? Talk to them, man. Aggress on them. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, man. Have a good night, guys. And then another archetype is the principled man, who does not want to seduce women and does not desire premarital intimacy because he's in control of his life. He uses, I'm going to be specific here, and men and women should use, obviously there's the principled women as well. They have sex with themselves. They use toys. Women should not be trying to hope that, oh, a man will please them. They should be interacting with themselves as men can as well. You know, there's a particular sex toy for men. It's called the Doc Johnson. Fuck me. I'll think of the device, but you get the idea. So the principled man relies on only wanting a woman based upon her values, not just because of her body, and not wanting to burn up his extra spare time and energy on a woman who he doesn't actually love, because that's what most quote-unquote romantic relationships consist of these days. It's just people exchanging their resources and not really loving each other. Oh, fuck. Expired. Mark as red. Hold on, guys. Fuck me. Do I really wanna? All right. Well, it looks like I gotta get out of here. You guys get the idea. Thank you for tuning in. And considering the archetypes, I'll be making an official list of this and including it in the description, so you don't have to worry about the recap or anything. You can just look at that. But thank you guys, much aloha and good night. Thank you, Cletus. Good time, man. This is how we do it. Waikiki. I'll be back. Rest assured. Aloha. Ugh.